Hello, JPU family. Welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered. So, guys, I hope that you all are having a good weekend so far. And I want to talk to you guys today about the strategy that the People's National Party is currently using to take Andrew Holness's job to form the next government. So, we've seen this strategy before. It's a failed strategy. It is indeed a failed strategy. And I don't understand if somebody uses a strategy that did not work for them and that failed so miserably, why would they use it again? You know? So this strategy that we're talking about, the Rise United faction who is now leading the PNP, the strategy that they use to destroy Peter Phillips, to stop him, is propaganda and polls. The two P's, propaganda and polls, right? So they used that strategy and it failed miserably. And when that failed, they moved to the next phase of sabotage, which was to carry a letter to the Governor General of Jamaica. They didn't go through with it because it was very shameful. It was a very shameful decision on their part. And when people started to chastise them, I'm talking about people within the ranks of the PNP, when they started to chastise them and say, this is appalling, including KD Knight, that's when they kind of, pulling back that decision. I don't know whose idea that was, but they decided not to do it because they were getting so much backlash, because that was after the two P's failed, which is the propaganda and the polls. So you can see they're doing the very same thing. They have not changed strategy. They're doing the same thing to Andrew Holness. They are using propaganda. They are using bloggers. They are using the polls, Don Anderson. And instead of going to the Governor General this time, because they can't go to the Governor General against Andrew because he's duly elected as the Prime Minister of Jamaica. So instead of going to the Governor General this time around, they go to the Diaspora with the lies and the propaganda and trying to criminalize Andrew Holness to the Diaspora. That is not going to work. I'm sorry and how do I know? I'm measuring it against the fact that they've done it before and it did not work for them. From the two P's to going to an individual who they believe is above, or up the chain of command, if you know what I mean. And the chain of command for them in this case is not the Governor General, but the Diaspora. I don't really see them drawing any big crowd or any serious response. As a matter of fact, and just the Diaspora alone, them consider the next chain of command. You have one of them who write letter to King Charles. Yes, one of them who go protest up in Washington, D.C. They've gone up all sort of chain of command. From the U.S., they tried to get the U.S. to do something to Andrew Holness or to see him in a bad light, which was their protest in the Diaspora. And we saw how that worked out. Nobody paid them any attention and they basically imploded. So them send letter to King Charles, And it's like, King Charles cannot do anything to anybody in Jamaica. That's just a fact, okay? So it makes you wonder, what are they going to do next? Are they going to try to unalive the Prime Minister? These people are behaving so reckless and so dangerous. I mean, if somebody was after me so relentlessly, I would be reporting them to the police. I would make sure that my house is secure, in terms of security and whatever, is necessary for me and my family to be safe. I mean, when Andrew Holness take the podium recently and go out there and sing song about them want to kill him, I don't take that lightly and I don't take it, I don't take it as a joke. I take it very serious because when you see the things that these people are doing, it really and truly makes you wonder what they will do next, And when they were doing that to Peter Phillips, I was watching the whole thing and I wondered what are they going to do next? I remember when Peter Phillips had his cancer diagnosis, I saw them, little bit of blood. The same one of them said dress Melissa when they kill her. Me see people like them, they wish death upon Dr. Phillips. And me I say, oh God, then people really go to them here lengths here over politics, over the need for control, over a major political party, and over people's lives. People really go to these lengths. And then the phrase came to me that power corrupts. It is a very dangerous thing, And the two P's that I speak of, it is the most vicious. It is the most vicious attack and the most vicious element and the most vicious strategy to try and unseat or remove somebody in the politics. Propaganda and polls. I'm going to have to do a little more research into that to see if it is just a PNP thing or if it's something that has been used in the past in other jurisdictions or in history, because there's no way that somebody or a group of people can be so vicious that they will, stoop that low and go to that length to try and remove people and try and destroy people and character assassinate people. And the things that they're doing is just ridiculous. But we have seen this used before. It was used in the PNP. And it wasn't just used against Dr. Phillips. Propaganda, polls, and then go up the chain of command. Go up the chain of command. Go to the colonizers. Go to the plantation owners. And then they even try to draw the United States of America in a them passa them bangara. America won't get involved in that. That's a domestic matter. The people of Jamaica are not rising up against Andrew Holness. They're not. They're just not. And the only way that they can get America to look at Andrew Holness in a negative light is unless Andrew Holness does something criminal, and if the people of Jamaica start to rise up against Andrew Holness. That is the only way. Otherwise, America is going to be looking at them as the enemies of the state because they're the ones. You think America not monitoring and looking at their activities? Mark Golding going to the Canadian Diaspora, talking all sort of thing about Holness. And you have the ones who they colluded with in America. We call themselves vloggers and YouTubers, those ones who organized protests which flopped. America is looking on and they're looking at them as a stupid set of people, a set of people who they're not getting anywhere. They have an agenda and they are trying really hard to carry out whatever it is that they're doing. And it's just the rice nah swell people. You understand? So I just wanted to bring this to you guys and remind you that this is their playbook. And I am definitely going to go look at history and see if anything like this has ever been done or where they get this vicious, evil, strategy from that they use on each other among themselves, and that they're trying to do to the Prime Minister of Jamaica right now. Remember, I'm telling you, them try to get out Dr. Phillips, and they did successfully get him out, but they first used the propaganda and the polls, and when that failed, they decided to write a letter and all sign it to the Governor General, the colonial overseer. And it's the same thing they're doing with Andrew Holness. They, polls, propaganda, and letter to King Charles. And then, of course, they're trying to go to the diaspora, to the Canadian Jamaicans in Canada and in America. And that's a flop, so